Today we are going to study about some loops. Loops in JavaScript are very much similar to loops in C, C++, Java, Python. Just like all these languages, JavaScript also has a for loop. JavaScript also has a while, a do while. At later stages, we will study about some more loops like for off, for in. But for now, we'll study these three loops. A loop is something which goes in cycle, which repeats. Whenever we want to do something multiple times, whenever we want to do a same or similar thing many a times, instead of writing that thing individually, we print that in a loop. A very simple example can be, let's say if I wanted to write just counting numbers from 1 till 10, I could do this. And this. This will print out numbers 1 to 10 on my document. That is my browser, like this. There can be a better way to do this. Instead of writing 10 lines to do this, I can do this in 1 or 2 lines only. And that is where loop come in. The commonest of them all, the easiest of them all is for loop. We write for and then parentheses. Inside it, we provide 3 things. First is the initialization, then a semicolon, then is the condition, then increment or decrement, depending on whichever way you want to go. If you want to go higher, you would write increment. If you want to go lower, you would write decrement. To put it in perspective, let's say I want to again write counting from 1 to 10. Instead of writing document write 10 times, what I would do is I would initialize a for. When I say initialize, what we'll actually initialize the variable. So let me initialize a variable I. Of course, we can take anything we want. I would be starting from 1. Why 1? Because I want to write the first number as 1. This loop will keep on working till the time I reaches, till the time I is smaller or equals to 10. This loop will continue till this condition is satisfied. जब तक ये कंडीशन सेटिस्फाई होती रहेगी, ये लूप चलता रहेगा. जिस मोमेंट पे ये कंडीशन फॉल्स हो जाएगी, लूप आपका खत्म हो जाएगा. And since after 1, I want to write 2, that is, I want to go higher, I want to be incrementing, that's why I would write I++. This is the loop initialization. This is the loop body. In here, I would simply write document.write, not 1 or 2 or 3, but I. So what I achieved from these 10 lines, I achieved in just 3 to show you the outputs. We are getting the exact same output. To make it more practical, what we would do is, I would do this as well. I'm writing a string. Inside that, I'm writing the HTML tag BR. What this would do is, it would print I's value. In the first case, it would be 1. After that, it would print a BR. Let me show you the result first. This is the result. How exactly this for loop is working, how the inner working of for loop, let us understand that as well. The value of I is initialized at 1. First of all, the condition is checked whether the condition is true for I equals 1. Since 1 is less than 10, that means the condition is true. If the condition is true, we go inside the curly braces. This thing will be checked at the end. We first initialize, then check the condition. If the condition is true, we come inside, we go inside the loop. It says to print out I is 1. So I will see on the document is 1 and then a BR. So 1 and the HTML BR tag that they will be printed on the screen. Then we'll increment I's value. I was 1. Now it will be 2. 1 plus 1 is 2. The condition will again be checked. And since 2 is also less than 10, we will again go inside the loop. This time it will print 2. Then increment I will be 3, condition will still be true, will print 3 till I reaches 10. Now for 10, 10 is not less than 10, but it's equals to 10. So we would print 10 and a BR. Then I would become 11, and for 11, this condition is false. And at this moment, we will exit out from the loop. But before exiting out, what we printed was counting from 1 to 10. Not exactly counting, what we actually printed was 1 BR, 2 BR, 3 BR. The BR will not be shown on the screen. Of course, its implementation is what would be visible to you. For loop. The only difference between for and while is how we write things. In for, the three things, initialization, condition, and increment or decrement, all of them happen at the single line, happen at the same line. The difference between for and while is only this, that in while, all these three, initialization, condition, and increment, decrement, they happen at separate lines. To put these things in perspective, I'm doing again the same thing. That is counting from 1 to 10, this time using while. First, I'll initialize a variable. I'm initializing it to 1 only. Then I would write the condition. While I is less than or equals to 10, then the curly braces. What we have to do, since we have to do the same thing, so document write I, document write BR. After this, we would write, after every pass, after every time printing I, increment the. As you can see, both the loops, for and while, they are printing the exact same thing. The only difference is how we write things in both of them. So if I wanted to count down, what I would do is, with for, I would do something like this. This time I would initialize it to 100. The condition would change for obvious reasons. I would be greater than or equals to 1, and I would decrement now. Inside, everything would remain the same. As you can see on the right hand side, I have a count down from 100 to 1. I can do the same using while as well. Okay, initialization would come first. So let I is equals to 100. While I is greater than or equals to 1, oops, print something. And I minus minus. Both of them would give me the exact same thing. We also have another loop known as do while, similar to while, with just one difference. Let me ask you a very quick question. What do you think the output of this particular code would be? What do you think this code will print out?
It will print out like मतलब 10 तक ही प्रिंट करेगा, लेकिन आई थिंक 10 9 8 7 ऐसे प्रिंट करेगा.
From 10 till where?
1.
Okay, so it will print out 10 to 1.
But हमने
Actually, it will print out nothing.
okay.
Can you tell me why?
Because हमने इसको I equals to अगर हमने 10 दिया
एंड कंडीशन क्या डाली हमने?
while I is less than 10, तो
तो
इसमें
इज 10 लेस देन 10? क्या
no,
नहीं होता? वाइल
नहीं,
में अगर कंडीशन फॉल्स होती है,
false है।
लूप से अंदर जाते ही नहीं हो। सो आफ्टर रीडिंग
हाँ।
लाइन 53 आवर प्रोग्राम विल स्ट्रेट कम आउट ऑफ लाइन 56। ये तो कभी पढ़ा ही नहीं।
हम्म।
So is this program will print nothing. So what I want you to take away from this is that while loop is an entry controlled loop. Whether you will be allowed to go inside is defined on the entry itself. यही डिफाइन हो गया था कि हम लूप के अंदर जाएंगे या नहीं जाएंगे। एंड सिंस यहाँ पे ये डिसाइड हुआ कि वी आर नॉट अलाउड टू गो इनसाइड, वी स्ट्रेट came out. While is an entry control loop. Whether you would go inside the loop will be decided on the entry itself. On the other hand, do while is an exit controlled loop. It's a very common question asked in interviews, the difference between while and do while. There's only one difference. And let me show you what I mean. So I'm again initializing I to 10. This time I'm writing a do. The document write is going inside do and the decrement as well. While I is less than 10. So the same initialization was previous as well and the same condition. Both of them are here as well. However, the output would be different from this thing. This program will output a single value 10. Let me show you also. Infinitely. Oh, that's a problem with live server. Okay. Okay, I myself have made a small error here. This will cause an infinite loop. So to prevent the infinite loop, to prevent the browser from crashing, I'm changing the sign from a lesser than to a greater than. This now would give me the single value 10 on the browser. However, if I would have done this, that means if I had the same in while loop, you could see there is nothing being printed on the browser because the condition is still not true, the condition is still false, and that is being checked at the top. That is whether you are allowed inside the loop or not, that is being checked in while at the top. That is why while is an entry control loop. However, that same condition, since it is being checked at the bottom and before that, we ask the browser to do what we have written and we ask the browser to print the value of I, which was 10, and then decrement it. By the time it reached this condition, I's value was 9. 9 is not greater than 10. So we broke out of the loop, but before breaking out, we had printed 10. Do while is an exit controlled loop. It will print out, it will execute at least once, even if the condition is false. Condition is false. That is the only difference between while and do while. If the condition is false in while, it will not be executed, not at least once. Do while, on the other hand, will be executed at least once if the condition is true or if it isn't. When we work with loops, in practical questions, we also use two keywords, one of which we studied in our previous class, one of which is break. and the other one is continue. We make use of both of them. And whenever we are studying loop, we also study operators, logical operators. This is and this is known as or. Two and symbols and two pipes. These are known as pipes. This is and this is or. Whenever we are working with loops, we also work with these. Let me tell you what I mean. Let's say if I have a loop, yes, in practical applications, we will be using for much greater than while. So all the further examples, I'll be dealing them with for. I'll be preparing them with for. What do you think the output for the following code would be? What do you think the output would be?
It will be one only, like it would be 1 to लेके 100 तक का वो होगा, मतलब 1 2 3 4 something.
It would print 1 to 100. Is that so?
I think so.
You think so or you know so?
I think it is.
You don't know?
Not confirmed.
It will.
Like हाँ 1 से लेके 100 तक print करेगा.
Yes, it will. What if I tell you, let me first put in these and let me do this. But what if I tell you we cannot do any modifications on line 71? That means it would print from 1 to 100. However, I still want this loop. I still want to exit out from this loop after 50. That is, what I'm saying is I will not do any modifications on line 71. Still, somehow, I should be able to break out of the loop after 50. I use the word break because what I'm going to do is inside the loop, I'm now invoking an if statement. If i's value has become 50, in that case, break out of the loop. Okay, let me show you how it was previously. What we were printing previously, so that you may get a sense of things. Previously, it was printing something like this. What you can see on the screen is numbers from 1 to 100, right? However,
Yes.
if I do this, and then I go back to my browser again, hit refresh. What is the difference that you see now? Is there any difference?
Yes. इसमें सिर्फ 40 तक print.
Okay, if you wanted 50, so what can I do is I can make it 51. Now, I'm only getting numbers from 1 till 50 and I haven't made any changes on the line 71. Break. So what happened here is I was initialized at 1. The condition is true that 1 is less than 100. Yes. So we went inside the loop. This condition is false, however. So line 73 will not be executed. 1 would be printed on the screen. Same will be the case for 2, 3, 4, up until 47, 48, 49, and 50. So 1 till 50 will be printed on the screen. After 50, I++ will make it 51. 51 is still smaller than 100. This condition is true. So we will again go inside. This condition now, however, is true. 51 is equals to 51. So in that case, line 63 will be executed, and break will take us out of all the loops. That is, as soon as we encounter break, we will get out of the loop. That is, we will get out at line 76. So क्या किया इसने, 1 to 50 तो प्रिंट किया और 51 आते ही लूप से बाहर आ गया. That means on the browser you are only seeing numbers from 1 till 50. The only difference between the words break and continue can be seen in this very example, but it's a very common interview question, the difference between break and continue. When I used break, I simply exited out of all the loops, all the curly braces. हम सीधे उनसे बाहर आ गए थे. Continue, however, let me show you the output. You can for yourself judge what is the difference. Can you see the output? Okay, refresh करें. हाँ. Can you see and judge what is the difference now in the output?
उसने कंटिन्यू रखा फिर भी 50 के बाद ही.
Okay. Is there anything else that is different? Can you take a look at the numbers I have highlighted? Is there something unusual in them?
47. Okay.
We don't have the number 51 in that counting.
Where is not there.
Exactly. So can you tell me the difference between break and continue?
Okay.
The difference in break and continue, which we can see from this example, is break. Whenever we use break, we simply exit out of the loop, and there is no way we can again return inside the loop. When we had break on line 73, as soon as I reached 51, we came out on line 76. That means on the browser, we did not see anything after 50, because after 50, we came out of the loop. Continue, however, simply skips one step in the loop. Continue, by using continue, we do not exit the loop, we exit that particular step or that particular pass only. What happened with continue is, from 1 till 50, since this condition was not true, so line 75 was being executed. So 1 till 50, we are seeing on the screen as is. As soon as I became 51, what we have here is, we have continue. That means do nothing, simply go to the next step. Next step in our case is increment. So when I was 51, what we did was, we simply went to 52. We simply incremented ahead to 52. 51 के केस में हमने कुछ नहीं किया. That means on the output, for 51 and for 51 only, line 75 was not executed. Therefore, you are not seeing 51 in the lineup. You have 1 to 50, you have 52 to 100, but 51 के केस में we made the loop to continue to the next step. 51 के केस में हमने document write I execute ही नहीं किया. That is the only difference between break and continue. Break makes you exit the loop. Continue just makes you exit that particular step, or not continue that particular step, skip that particular step. That is the difference between break and continue.
Okay.
I will still use break and continue. Now I'm combining them with and or as well. Let me tell you what I mean. This was break and continue, and this would be and or. Let me again do the same thing. Let us initialize at 1 and continue the loop till 100. Or let's make it 1000. Let's make things more interesting. If I simply do this document write IBR, so it would give me, of course, from 1 till 1000, count up from 1 till 1000. Let me show you what I mean. In this case, what I'm getting now is from 1 till 1000, like this. Right. Let's say if I do not want to print just the number 500, I do not want to print the number 500. In that case, what I would do is something like this. If I is equal to 500, not 5000, sorry. In that case, simply continue to the next step. That is what I'm telling the browser. So now, right now, we are seeing 500. If I can show you, it is here. Can you see it? But if I refresh and I scroll back down again, there is no 500. After 499 is 501. Right? If I hit break here, I will only see numbers from 1 till 499 because at 500 we exited the loop. Right? However, what I want is I want to skip not just the single number 500. I want to omit the whole range from 400 till 500. That is, I want this very loop to print numbers from 1 till 399, but after 399, I want it to again resume printing from 501 to 1000. In that case, first of all, I would need continue, yes. In the if, what I would do is something like this. If I is less than 400, this is known as and, 2 times the ampersand symbol or shift and 7. If I is less than 400 and if I is greater than or equals to 500, in that case, instead of printing, simply skip to the next value of I. What will this do? Let me first show you the output. From 1 till 399, I'm getting the numbers as usual, which we can see in the output. There you go. Sorry, printer. Okay, what have we done wrong? I is less. Oh, okay. This condition makes no sense actually. Okay. This is okay. If I is greater than or equal to 400, and if I is less than or equal to 500, actually this condition should make sense. There you go. We are getting 1 till 399, that 501 till 1000. And simply states that this should also be true because we are asking 2 questions here. So the left hand side should also be true as well as the right hand side, and will only make this whole thing true if both the left hand side and the right hand side are true. Or is the exact opposite, or states if either of the conditions is true, if the left hand side is true or even the right hand side is true, the other being false. In that case also, this whole condition will be termed true. एंड स्टेट्स की दोनों को ट्रू होना चाहिए तभी ट्रू है, और स्टेट्स की दोनों में से एक साइड भी अगर ट्रू है तो पूरी कंडीशन ट्रू है. नाउ हाउ टू यूज और, लेट मी शो यू. I'll take this very example only. I'll just amp it up a little further. This time I want to omit not just 400 to 500. I also want to omit the range from, let's say, 800 to 900. I want to omit 100 numbers here and 100 numbers here. This is what I had previously. Now, I'm writing it inside one curly braces just for the sake of understanding. Parentheses actually, not curly braces. And I'm writing the other condition inside other curly brace, parentheses. Greater than equals 800 and I is less than equals 900. In that case, simply continue the loop. In all the other cases, print I. What do you think should come in between here? Let me tell you. If I put in and, let me show you what will be the output if I put and in here. You will see all the 1000 numbers. If I can go back to the 400 line, you will see it being printed. There you go. Similarly, the 800 line will also be there. The 800 range, as you can see, is there. That is, all the 1000 numbers are being printed. The correct way was using and, pipes. Let me first show you what is the output. Now you will see the line 400 being emitted. And you can see it here. You will also see from 800 to 900 are also omitted like this. The difference between and or is perfectly visible here. When we had put and, what it simply meant is that this condition should also be true and this condition should also be true. See, no number, no physical possible number can fulfill both the conditions. That is, it should lie in 400 to 500 and it should also lie between 800 to 900. There is no number possible which fulfills both the conditions. ऐसा कोई नंबर ही नहीं है जो 400 से 500 के बीच में भी हो और 800 से 900 के बीच में भी हो, है ना? बट हम तो यहाँ यही कह रहे हैं, वी आर यूजिंग एंड. दैट इज व्हाई वी वांटेड और, कि या तो नंबर इस रेंज में फॉल करे तो भी आप उसे कंटिन्यू कर दो, और अगर नंबर इस रेंज में फॉल करता है तो भी डू नॉट प्रिंट इट, सिंपली कंटिन्यू द लूप. दैट इज व्हाई वी यूज or here and not and. The difference between and or. Using parentheses here, that was optional. ये जो extra parentheses लगाए थे, this was only for our understanding. That is, this would also work. But just to keep things clear, I put extra parentheses in here. The difference between and or is this.